What is up? It's Hobbyist First. Just got back from DaBoyz GT in Rochester, New York, where 8 Warhammer Fantasy players battled using 4,000 point forces. The format of the event at the end was 3,000 points plus 1,000 points of monsters or a pact or a mercenary force. So if you're wondering how these interesting looking forces came together, there's a lot of people took monsters, including a fair number of giants, which if you make it to the end of the video, we post all the giants together. This army was put together by Kevin, who is a Warhammer Fantasy legend. This is a Warriors of Chaos army led by Throg the Troll King. So there's a lot of trolls of different vintage here. There's some Forge World, some Stone Trolls, there's some very old common trolls. Right here you're looking at a Forge World giant river troll hag being played as a Nurgle, a giant. There's a sorcerer on a palanquin of Nurgle, looking at a BSB on a palanquin of Nurgle. And here's some of those classic trolls. And here's 5 giants of various vintage and make. There's another look at that awesome banner. This army is it's a collector's dream. There's a lot of metal here. These are Forge World bile trolls, and you can see the stone trolls painted up in that classic blue scheme. Here's a nice shot of that troll hag. Here's some chaos trolls, so he fielded these as additional hand weapons. Here's those classic trolls, and these giants, 2 of those are Wargames Foundry. There's that banner. This is Throg's banner. And lastly, here is a sorcerer BSB on a handmade palanquin. Here's Jason's dwarf army. You got a Bugman Rangers, 30th anniversary White Dwarf, BSB Thane, some characters, warriors, hammerers, slayers, another block of warriors, more slayers, a lot of metal here, and here's a large unit of miners with a steam drill, a couple war machines, and for his bonus 1,000 points, Jason took a dragon and this Emperor dragon, which is a beautiful Reaper Bones model, centerpiece in Jason's collection. You can see this really nice display board that he made with the volcano backdrop. Beautiful freehand on the banner there with the Rangers and converted weapons. The super rare model on the right is Bugman carrying the White Dwarf 30th anniversary White Dwarf model. Really nice looking force. Great display board, and like I said, Jason has a much larger collection. He could field much very shooty. He could field almost all slayers. And here's one last shot of that awesome dragon, this massive plastic dragon from Reaper. Here is Joe's Orc and Goblin army, led by Azhag the Slaughterer. Got some Night Goblins, a large unit of Orc Biggins with a black Orc BSB, Spider Riders, looking at an Ragnarok Spider, and a couple of Snotling Pump Wagons that came from Blood Bowl, some Trolls. See 3 giants here were part of Joe's 1,000 points of monsters at the end. You see Azhag the Slaughterer again, Mangler Squig, Rock Lobber, and this Mega Gargant was used as a Bone Grinder giant. Joe put together a really nice display board with a stone effect. You can see some details here. He's got that Black Gobbo Christmas special model there. Nice look at that huge unit of orcs. Some nice airbrush work on this Ragnarok Spider. Here's Azhag the Slaughterer, his army general, on his purple wyvern. Here are 3 giants, and one last shot of the Mega Gargant played as a Bone Grinder giant. Here is Dan's Skaven army. I commission painted this over a couple years, and the army is featured in another video on my channel, but you can see it set up as 3,000 points here, several hordes of rats, a couple unit fillers using like warpstone chunks, Dan's got some characters in the middle there, some sensor bearers, and his storm fiends. And Dan painted this really nice 1,000-point demon pact, including a beautiful plastic Lord of Change model to round out his 4,000 points. As you can see, the hordes of rats exceeded what the display board could handle, but here's some shots of Dan's really nice force arrayed for battle. Again, those Storm Fiends, some of my favorite sculpts in the 8th edition collection of Warhammer Fantasy stuff. Dan's really nice work on that Greater Demon, especially on the wings. Check out Isaac's collection of elves. We've got some mounted character on a griffin, a couple repeater bolt throwers, skirmishing archers, cavalry, and then some blocks of hard-hitting elf infantry, a mage on dragon, chariot back there, and a big block of spearmen. Isaac rounded out his 4,000 points with a 1,000-point mercenary force of dark elves, which feature this really cool Hydra. So as Isaac explains it, I think his wife either painted or helped paint this elf army or the high elf portion of it, which either way is totally awesome. The models look really great. There's an awesome overall army look to them. The color scheme is great. The basing's great. Here's my Ogre Kingdom's army dedicated to Khorne. Here's some Chaos Spawn. Here's a unit of Iron Guts with a Tyrant and a BSB Bruiser, Slaughter Mistress, a Fire Belly, and I have 3 good-sized units of Ogre Bulls. Moving behind them, you'll see Trappers and Yetis, more Trappers, more Noblar Trappers, and then another unit of 6 Yetis. Rounding out my monsters is a Chaos Mammoth and this huge Bone Grinder Giant from Forge World. Check everything out set up on the display board. Here's a shot of some of those spawn, some oddball miniatures from all over the place. Here's my Iron Guts. You see the Khorne icon on the unit standard. Nice shot of my Iron Blaster and a couple of my characters. Here's one of my Bull units. You can see mutated heads on some of the guys. Here's a 3-headed dude in one of the units. There's a 2-headed dude in the back representing Chaos Ogres as a whole force. Yes, that is Sully from Monsters Inc., played as a Yeti. Here's another Yeti squad. These Yetis, most of them come from Reaper. There's a Chaos Mammoth, and one last shot of the Bone Grinder Giant, which is the original Bone Grinder from Forge World. Here is Val's Empire army that he brought all the way from Toronto, Canada. Lots and lots of Imperial foot troops with some heavy cavalry and monstrous cavalry. This 4,000-point army boasts 2 steam tanks, a Hurricanum, a War Altar of Sigmar, and a Luminarch. Got a mobile BSB on a Pegasus, 2 great cannons, and 2 Hellblaster volley guns. You can see here just a sea of Imperial soldiers. They were buffed by all kinds of prayers and spells, which made them very, very difficult to shift and made them fight like hell. Some nice old puffy sleeve sculpts there, old plastic multi-part. Nice shot of this BSB captain. And you can see the heavy cavalry with their lances and these lance-armed demigriffs. 2 ranks. Yikes. Detail shot of some of the magic carts. War Altar with the Archlector. Awesome Empire force. This last one is Danny's Warriors of Chaos army. We're looking at a block of warriors, some Chaos Hounds, a large unit of Chaos Knights with a giant, Marauder Infantry, some Chaos Spawn in the back, a Storm Giant, another giant. In front is a larger unit of Marauder Horsemen, some Fast Cav Slanesh, Nurgle Warriors, a Chaos Chariot, looking at 3 classic Games Workshop Trolls, some Crushers, and a few more giants. Take a look at Danny's army spread out for battle. Really impressed to see ranked up 2 ranks of these Chaos Knights. Really nice job on the freehand on that banner. The Chaos icon looks gorgeous. I think this was the best painted unit at the entire event, these Slaanesh Riders. And you can see the Trolls and Crushers here. And lastly, here's Danny's classic Nurgle Chaos Warriors. As promised at the beginning of the video, here is one final glorious shot of all the giants. Across 8 players, we're able to put together a picture here with 13 giants and 2 Bone Grinder giants. We had such a great time at DaBoyz GT this year. This was an escalation style tournament that started with a 1,000 point Triumph and Treachery game, then a 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and finally a 4,000 point battle, which I think is rare in the tournament scene to see games that size. If any of this sounds cool or the armies look fun, we had a great time. We'd love to have more people join us next year. We'll be playing in November at DaBoyz GT in Rochester, New York. The event is presented by the 8th Edition for Life Forum, and information about the event can be found at DaBoyz GT's website as well as at the EEFL forum page. If you made it this far in the video, thanks so much. I appreciate you watching. Take care.